Want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in. This mission of yours is gonna cost you dearly.
What Detective Dormer doesn't know is that murder is only part of the plan.
You wanted to seek out new life. Go where the aliens are.
Your presence is blasphemy.
Let's talk about this. Find some comfort.
I think that went well.
Okay, I guess we'll actually go live. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Why not?
Being picky. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Why not? Sure. Hey, Mikael. Hey, Dice. Yes. Dice, if there's a short you'd rather I use for a promotion, let me know. Yeah, I was just looking for promotion from friends of the channels, and I was like, hey, here's a cute few that seem cool. Is Star Trek turning? Orville's always been Star Trek, Mikael. So I'm not 100% sure where you're going with that. If you watch the Orville and you don't realize that is like pretty much entirely based on Star Trek, that is Seth MacFarlane. It's pretty much doing
totally
a Star Trek
just
show.
like it's like kind of like Next Gen and a bit of Deep Space Nine, a little bit.
Orville, like there's no way Star Trek could turn into Orville because Orville is so much Star Trek. But yeah, so how you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing good. Doing all right. All right. Excited for some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Insomnia, which is an older movie, which there'll probably come a point in the recent future where we're going to have to talk about a lot of older movies due to something else we're about ready to talk about. And then after that, we'll talk about Strange New World Season 1. And then pretty soon we'll start diving into Season 2. But Bobby, did you know Hollywood has completely shut down for the most part?
I heard it's the spirit of Halloween already. They really move fast.
It was fast. No,
real quick. So all the actors have joined.
Right. The writers essentially went on strike 72 days. Well, it's been more than 72 days. Over 2 months ago, they went on strike.
Yeah, they've been.
And to see the results of that from like just a viewer, it'll take probably at least a year. Now, the actors going on strike did see an impact from our perspective, 3 to 6 months, because production comes after script writing, obviously.
Yeah.
So this is going to impact them way faster. The writers or the actors are in a lot of ways the public face of Hollywood. In fact, I don't even know why I'm saying in a lot of ways. They are the public face of Hollywood. Pretty much most any famous actor you can think of is a member of SAG. And they're pretty much all like picket lines.
I don't know for sure about this, but do you know if any like of the crew unions, like the film people, the grip people, the people who like build sets and sound, do you know if any of those unions have joined? Or
I don't know yet. Here's what I know. Obviously SAG-AFTRA is striking. WGA is striking. I know the Directors Guild reached a deal. So directors are going to still be there. Although Christopher Nolan has come out and said he refuses to work on anything until the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild have a deal.
Yeah, he's still a writer, and I'm pretty sure he's a member of the Writers Guild too.
He might be a member of both. Whether or not you can be a member of both varies from guild to guild, obviously. But he's come out and said he will not work on anything else. What this is going to do is pretty much shut down most of Hollywood. So maybe we'll cover some older stuff, which honestly, I've been kind of missing the whole older stuff. Like, we need to cover the popular stuff, but like older stuff's fun too.
Like, we could even go through a list of like ask each other stuff, like movies that are older that we just haven't seen. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's a few. I
absolutely.
know there's a few that I've never seen.
Yeah, and there's definitely ones I've never seen too. I definitely have
Yeah.
holes, and hey, I like having my holes filled. Wait,
Yeah.
what are we talking about? Wait.
Phrasing, man.
What? No, but
Smooth.
yeah, very smooth. But yeah, I think I think another thing it's worth noting is that SAG is probably one of the most famous or definitely one of the most powerful unions out there. And when they go on strike, it will influence other unions in other sectors
Yeah.
of labor to be a bit more motivated to say, fuck it. We shouldn't take this shitty deal. So we'll have to see what the impact of this is, because this is going to have an impact outside Hollywood, and we'll just have to see what that is. But there was an interview I wanted to show us. It's an interview that I had trouble tracking down. If you watched my live stream yesterday, it was Sean Gunn's interview with the Hollywood Reporter that the Hollywood Reporter took down because essentially Netflix asked him to. And honestly, I just thought it'd be good to play it. You seem to be looking at something.
No, I'm just reading something in the comments.
Oh, okay.
Dice. He said he accidentally came across a couple of videos from people talking about how horror is bad for you. They're planning to react to it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sorry.
That sounds awesome, Dice.
Yeah, that sounds intriguing.
Make sure to subscribe to Dice. They got a great channel. But yeah, I went ahead, tracked down. It took I found a crappy version for my stream yesterday, but I tracked down a good version. I'm gonna play it again because this is essentially the interview that Netflix doesn't want you to see, which is weird. You'll see it's fairly standard interview, but he's saying some base shit. So let's go ahead and let it roll.
Okay.
Why was it important for you to be out here today on the picket lines?
Well, first of all, I've been a proud member of SAG for over 25 years. And so it's important for me to come out. But I also particularly wanted to come out and protest Netflix because I was on a television show called Gilmore Girls for a long time that has brought in massive profits for Netflix. Has been one of their most popular show for a very long time, over a decade. It gets streamed over and over and over again, and I see almost none of the revenue that comes into that. The CEOs of Netflix, Reed Hastings and Ted Sarandos, give each other bonuses in the tens of millions of dollars. Ted Sarandos made $40 million with the bonuses that they made with their corporate profits. I don't understand why they can't lessen those bonuses to share the wealth more with the people who have created the content that has gotten them rich. And it really is a travesty. And if the answer is, well, this is just how business is done, this is just how corporate business works, that sucks. That makes you a bad person. And you really need to rethink how you do business and share the wealth with people. Otherwise, this is all going to come crashing down. And so I'm happy to be out here, and we need a fair deal.
Would you say that for you, residuals are the most important issue on the table, or what other issues are really important to you in these negotiations?
Obviously, AI is incredibly important. I can't pretend that I understand the ins and outs of all the facets of the AI issue, but I know that being compensated for use of one's likeness is incredibly important and needs to be a part of an equitable part of this deal. I also just feel in general that sharing in streaming revenue somehow, it needs to be rethought of. As Fran Drescher said yesterday, the whole business model has fallen apart, really. And so we need to kind of restructure it from the top and do something where we equitably share profits. And if they're making less profits, that's fine. But then they can't. Then the producers can't keep taking the profits that they've been getting all along. You got to reduce your profits if you're reducing profits. So yeah, it's a whole mess, and we need a new deal and a fair deal.
Fran gave a very passionate speech yesterday at the SAG-AFTRA press conference, and there was a really positive reaction online. What was your reaction to that speech she gave?
I thought it was a really good speech. Fran is very, very fiery, and I like that. Sometimes, in the Godfather parlance, sometimes you may need a wartime general when you're facing a strike, and Fran seems up to the task. So I appreciate that.
And for all the movie and TV fans watching this at home and the ones who watch the content, what do you hope they know about this strike and the issues at hand?
Duncan and Fran said this pretty well yesterday, but I hope people at home understand that this is part of labor against corporation, and it really applies to every single industry that we see right now. The people, in 1980, somebody who was the CEO of a company made 30 times the amount that their lowest employee made. That's 43 years ago. Now that number is 400 times. Why? Why is that? There is no reason for that other than greed, and other than, hey, we can squash the least of us. We can make sure that they make less, and we can get our cut and make a little bit more. And it really is a moral and an ethical issue as much as it's a financial issue. You don't need to be squeezing every last dollar out of the folks that work for you. It's unconscionable.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's happening when I'm muted. So I just want to let him speak because it feels like a based interview, and I don't know why Netflix wanted it taken down.
Some of those questions seemed a little loaded.
Yeah, well, he does a great job handling them, though.
Yeah, he did, but they totally seemed loaded. Like the one about residuals, how that was the first thing. I'm just, excuse you, are you listening?
Yeah, but
it's not just that. It's, I hear his point exactly with
mm-hmm.
They didn't do shit on that show other than just allow it on their platform and acquire legal rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's about being paid for what you're worth, and if it's written in their contracts for it, then absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's about getting those contracts written so they actually get those benefits. Because one of the issues I'm seeing is the fact that they're hiding what these streaming numbers are. They always like to be like, oh, we're doing terrible on streaming, but everybody is streaming anymore, especially after the pandemic. Everybody's streaming nonstop, and somehow the streaming numbers are bad on some of the biggest streamers. Something doesn't add up right. And there's some other numbers that are worth bringing up. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about this because who knows? Stuff's going down recently. Like I said, that interview went down. There's some pictures I saw from Variety talking about the Oppenheimer premiere that are missing now. But CNBC did this report. The top Hollywood executives made $489 million in the last 5 years. 384 times as much as the average writer. And this is going over how much these guys are making. So the 10 highest paid Hollywood executives in the last 5 years include David Zaslav, nearly $500 million, Ari Emanuel, $346 million, Reed Hastings, $209 million, Bob Iger, $195 million, Ted Sarandos, $192 million. These guys are fucking making bank, and they're talking about, and that's the thing that's also worth noting. These guys are all taking pay raises recently, but they're talking about how they can't pay their writers or their actors or anybody under them. They're struggling, they're heartbroken, and meanwhile these are their paychecks. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I guess I didn't outright. I pretty much I think it's clear what I recorded yesterday, but I didn't outright say it. But I'll outright say it now. I 100% support these strikes. This is ridiculous. I think, honestly, possibly the most important thing these strikes could reveal are what are these streaming numbers? Because this is part of the problem with Disney and these companies producing material and owning these streaming services. Nobody knows what their numbers are. They can just report success, whatever they want. There's a reason why back in the day the government stepped in and said movie studios can't own movie theaters, because that's what was happening. And now essentially it's the same thing, except instead of movie theaters, it's streaming platforms. And obviously I think there should be a thing saying they shouldn't be allowed to do both. They can't make content and stream it. But what are your thoughts, Bobby?
I'm with the writers and the actors completely. They need to be paid for what they are, and these execs need to really start spreading the residuals and stop fucking giving each other raises. Like, it's just no.
Well,
they don't need to worry about their bread running out. It ain't going away.
Yeah,
there'll always be an audience. There's always an audience for anything.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild how much these guys are making. I do think it's interesting how Bob Iger is like number 4, even though like Disney owns is the biggest entertainment company there is out there. Like,
yeah, I'm kind of surprised Warner is where they're at.
Well, that's the thing. I think they're all just taking the money they can, but like Zaslav, I think is like taking the most because Warner has
They must own a lot of television.
Yeah.
They must own
Warner,
a lot of
it
television.
seems like has had a lot of bombs recently, but David Zaslav is killing it. Something's not adding up.
Well, I mean, that's our country's box office. That's our country's. Like that's like our market. So I mean, who knows? He could be killing it in Russia or whatever.
Yeah,
like they could be those films could be performing well over there. There's a lot of variables, but
I mean,
it can't. That can't be the majority. That can't come from streaming. It can't.
No matter what, if these CEOs can make this much, certainly they can pay their writers and their actors a bit more.
They absolutely can.
One of the things Matt Damon has brought up is the fact that in order to, if you're in the Actors Guild, in order to qualify for health insurance, you need to at least make $26,000, and some of them aren't making it. And that if you're living on $26,000, I almost want to say congratulations because that's rough. That is not much at all. I mean, I'm not making whoppingly more than that, but I am making more than that. So I can't imagine making less.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then of course, obviously, well, is there anything you want to go into here, Bobby?
No. Just well, another thing that's concerning with the AI. Well, that the writers are concerned about also with AI. I also feel that since when those apps started even coming out. I kind of was like, I don't care for that much. And so there's an artist that you could have paid to do that. You're taking, livelihood away from somebody who can do that. And somebody, I was talking about this with a friend, and their argument was, well, I mean, it'd be cheaper just to have a computer do it and everything. I'm like, well, if you rely on it, then it's just going to look terrible, as opposed to paying someone to make it look good. That's why practical effects are usually better than CGI, in my opinion. But
well, I mean, it's also worth noting most CGI isn't done by AI. I mean, that's one of the things. Like AI, I think AI can be a helpful tool. Like a tool I've recently learned about is Adobe Express, and one of the things is it can use AI to do like a cutout around a person if you want to use them for a thumbnail or something like that.
Okay, yeah,
super useful. But that's, again, it's like a basic tool that AI can do. It'd be something different if I use AI to just make a whole fucking thumbnail. Who knows what shit would come out then. It's like, as those a tool, I think it's fine. But like
those demented AI photos are what you'll see.
Yeah. Using it to help out with stuff, I think is fine. But using it to make a script or shit like that, no, that's garbage. Absolutely not.
Well, yeah, AI really can't, become that self-aware as far as we know. But speaking of AI becoming self-aware, let's talk about the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Oh, is there AI in this movie?
It's pretty much Tom Cruise versus AI, part 1.
Yeah, no. Like this movie was so timely because of AI.
God.
Yeah. This is Tom Cruise versus AI in this movie. I'll go ahead and say I thought it was a lot of fun, but holy shit, so timely right now. It's the one threat that Tom Cruise could possibly beat. Who knows?
Well, we know it could fake Simon Pegg, so
true. That's it's essentially, this is super, the main villain here is a supercomputer that's hidden on this sub. I think it's a Russian sub, something like that.
Yes, it's a Russian sub. They made no bones about that.
Yeah. They hide it on the Russian sub, but it escapes. It uses its AI intelligence to fake a torpedo and blow
Fake
itself
another
up.
submarine.
Yes, on the record. And all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we can't actually physically see the submarine, but like it's on the radars." Yeah, and it's essentially it does have people that it uses, but it manipulates people to for resources and stuff like that. And it also like fucks with all the cameras. It fucks with pretty much anything that might have an internet connection.
Yeah.
Obviously, Luther and Benji have issues because their whole thing is computers. And there is obviously a point where suddenly, like, their computers just start lying to them. And even a point where, yes, it starts lying to Tom Cruise and faking Benji's voice, giving him instructions, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that was...
Mhm.
This movie was a little ridiculous at times, but
Well, it's a Mission Impossible
okay.
movie.
Yeah. I particularly liked when Tom Cruise gas bombed or Joker bombed that entire office. That just nobody in that whole giant room of people working did not notice at all. It just filled up with green smoke.
Yeah, it's nothing, guys. It's normal.
It's a Tuesday. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very, very timing movie. Just with the AI, I kind of thought that was very interesting. I had a lot of vocal fans in my theater that I saw.
Oh, really?
Today. Yeah.
It's
that evil AI,
Yeah,
computer. I believe I heard too.
Yeah, it's all these writers and actors going on strike because of part of it is fears of AI, and then here's a whole movie where it's AI. it's kind of wild. I think they do a decent job with it. Like, obviously, it's outrageous. It's a Mission Impossible movie. It's pretty outrageous. I think they do a decent job with the AI threat, and that was
so.
Go ahead.
The nemesis in this movie that we see, Tom Cruise's nemesis in this.
Yeah, the guy in like I want to say corner of the picture. You can't see my mouse, but he's in the corner of the picture.
Is it me, or was he just like low tier, like, and I mean like low tier henchman Bond villain level? Like he gave me some vibe like that a little bit, but like he was going for it, but just not delivering for me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not sure how like villainous they were shooting for him. I thought he was decent, but like, like if they're going for him being the main villain, then I don't think it's working. But I feel like it
really seemed like a threat to me the entire movie.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like his threat is just that he kind of just does what the computer tells him.
Mantis was more of a threat than him to me.
Yeah, an argument can be made for that because she was pretty badass in this movie. She was a villain through most of it, and she was a little scary at times, man.
I loved her driving that armored tank through this town.
Yeah,
through Rome. That was pretty awesome. It was giving me some Fast 7 vibes.
Yes, definitely.
Or wait, that was the one that they were in Italy, right? Was that the one that were in Italy?
The tank. I think.
Because I saw like a car going down the steps, and I was thinking, like, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
Okay. So the car going down the steps, I think, was 10, but the tank, I think, was 6. All the crazy car stuff in the past movies do blur together for me.
Well, watching it is like, more. I know I've seen this. I know I've seen this from the Fast and the Furious. I know I have.
Well, I will say this. I enjoy this more than your average Fast and Furious movie, even though I'm forgiving of that series. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a little too forgiving.
I enjoy it. It's dumb. Although I do want it to end. I'm ready for it to end, even though I'm enjoying of it. I guess we should probably talk about the new character who I feel is kind of obviously being set up to take over the lead if they decide to make a Mission Impossible 9. Haley Atwell's Grace. What were your thoughts on her?
I enjoyed her. I liked her character. I
Mhm.
liked what they did. I recognize the actress. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head.
Yeah, Haley Atwell.
That's what.
She was in the Captain America movies.
That's where I'd seen her before. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this is like the introduction to her with the IMF crew, then yeah, I enjoyed that. I liked that.
Yeah.
I still don't see Tom Cruise walking away from this series anytime soon.
Well, that's the thing. Like, actually watching this, one thing, this is the first time where I'm kind of really starting to notice his age. Not that he's like physically slowing down or anything, but
Yeah.
he's looking a bit older. He doesn't look his age, but he's looking older than he did in the last.
I was like, that dye's kind of running a little thin there, Tom.
Yeah, and he's still doing all the stunts and awesome, but like I can definitely see how, he might be like, okay, maybe take a producer seat here, maybe let somebody else be the lead for a little bit. I will say, I mean, he's looking good. I mean, I think he's over 10 years older than Simon Pegg. And Simon Pegg's looking older too. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. They are. But yeah, I think her character, she's essentially a thief. She is oh yeah, and that it leads to that one scene where we actually get to see Tom Cruise do the magic trick stuff, which I like that callback because I don't think we've seen that since the first one. And he gets to fuck around with Grace, who just picked his pocket, and then he gets to pick her pocket. They have some fun with that. Because essentially, to stop the supercomputer, you need these two halves of these two keys that they can only be combined, and they can only authenticate each other. This is all goofy Mission Impossible style stuff.
Yeah.
Like the
Seriously.
keys actually have this light that lights up, and it's like I'm even looking at it going, what are these keys' power sources?
Every time they kept showing the keys, I just found myself
Yeah.
thinking, like, there's no way in hell that can unlock anything. Like, is that even strong enough? Yeah, the damn thing will break off
It does
in the
have a
lock.
plastic look. Yeah, it has kind
I
of
was
this,
like, the damn. Well, I don't know. Like, I just see one of the ends that's separated would like break off inside of the lock, and then what? Then what do you do? You're screwed then. Like,
well, yeah, it's a little suspension of disbelief because it has to be like metal, but like it definitely is a.
but it
plastic
has
look
enough
to those
to.
keys,
But it has
yeah.
enough power and electronic in it to light up, if correct.
Yeah, that's so wonky. Like
I'm just like that's a bullshit key. What's funny is I
Yeah,
walked out and there was a guy walking out behind me, like kind of like hoofing it to the bathroom. I just got a quiet. I thought I said this under my breath enough. I was like, well, that key was a load of bullshit, and just like kind of just laughing. And he kind of just started chuckling. I was like, I did not know anybody was behind me.
Nah.
Sorry. And he was like, oh yeah, it's a movie though, but you're right, that key's bullshit.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I can't disagree with that. As much as I enjoy this movie, that key,
It's just
it was so weird. There's so
like I
much
was
guy
thinking
going
about it
with this
so
movie,
much
that one.
while I was watching it, going like, I am spending way too much time thinking about this key, but it just really bothers me that much. Like,
Yeah, it's a weird key. What else? Oh yes. So I guess should we go into the big spoiler?
yeah.
Okay, so big spoiler. Warning you now. In a few minutes we'll be talking about Insomnia, but like big spoiler right now. We're gonna drop it right now. You've been warned.
Yep.
You've been warned. Final warning. So there's this club they go to. Obviously, there's a club scene because John Wick is popular.
It's a party.
Where the AI has kind of got screens all over the place. It's kind of cool how they do that. But
That was stupid.
eh.
I was laughing. So
Yeah.
okay, but I'm sorry, go on.
Well, I do think it's a little goofy. The AI is it's almost like this like multiple waveform thing going on.
It's like Fun
that's visual
Hal.
representation. Yeah.
It's like Fun Hal.
Mm-hmm. But essentially, they reach this point where either Grace and Elsa are there, and they're told one of them's gonna die tonight. And of course, Ethan's like, "Fuck you, nobody's dying tonight." I wouldn't have objected to the F-bomb, actually, but actually, is there an F-bomb in this? I think there might be, but I don't remember who says
No,
it.
I don't think so.
Is there not an F-bomb?
I don't think so.
I
I think it might just have the R rating because of the violence, which...
No, it's PG. I'm pretty sure this is PG-13,
Is
isn't
it
it?
PG-13?
I'm
I'll
pretty
check
sure.
now. I'll check.
Well, that'd be really disappointing if they don't have any F-bombs and it's R-rated. There's no excuse then.
That's just... No.
But obviously, like, there's it's Grace or Elsa, and they're fighting.
It is PG-13.
Yeah, they're fighting to make sure neither one of them die, and Elsa dies. I have mixed feelings about, like, I get the idea of, hey, let's kill off somebody so we set the stakes because it's supposed to be the ending of the franchise here, or the first part of the ending of the franchise. I don't know. I feel like they could have done more with her character, at least in this one, than just like kill her off. Like, she essentially, her death comes towards the end of Act 2. It's the low point for all the cast, and then almost as soon as she dies, it's like, okay, Grace, you're going to become a member of IMF. Just instantly launching into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is. Do you have any thoughts on it? Because I don't know. I feel like they could have handled it better, but
I knew there would be. I thought they would end with. I knew somebody was gonna die.
I figured somebody would die too.
I figured just because it's a two-parter. I thought it would have been more closer to the ending, almost as a cliffhanger. Like, are they gonna pull through? What's gonna happen? Maybe we think they're in limbo, and in the next movie it starts off with them dying, and then, you know, just vengeance Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
First part of that movie. By the trailers, I'm also kind of surprised with, like, I guess the order of how some things happened. Like, I'm surprised we got that desert sequence so early. In the movie.
Oh yeah, that's like one of the first things.
I honestly thought the car stuff in the city streets would have been first. That's just kind of what I was thinking from just off the trailer alone. Because for these, I try not to like look into what's gonna like anything about it other than just the trailer. I just watch the trailer and that's it. Usually like the first full trailer, and then I try not to watch anything about it until I go to see it. But yeah, so that's one thing that stood out the most to me. I feel like I've gone on such a tangent that I forgot what you asked me.
Oh, I was just asking kind of what your overall thought was on Elsa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, her death. Yeah, that was it. Sorry. Yeah. I kind of she was somebody that we had seen in the past movie, right?
Yeah, no, she's been this is her third appearance in the franchise.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured like a death in the crew would happen again. I feel it would have been a little more impactful if it was Vin Rames or Simon Pegg.
Yeah, I was actually at a point where I was actually thinking maybe they'll do a twist because they had led up so much to obviously Elsa dying that I actually thought it might be interesting to have Simon Pegg die, because there's a point where like the radio's been compromised, so Simon Pegg runs out there to try to warn Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And it almost seems set up for like maybe he intervenes and he ends up dying. And
yeah.
No, there's actually no point to him running out there. He just kind of pops.
He kind of shows up as we're pulling away with camera and fading out. Yeah.
Yeah. And
or at least I could only presume.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like his death might have had a bit more of an impact. And honestly, I won't want to get rid of Luther because he's just been there since the first one. It's like him and Tom Cruise since the first one. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, I feel like Elsa was an interesting character that they didn't do as much with, especially in this one, and kind of disappointing that we lost her. But overall, I still enjoyed this movie quite a bit. This was a fun 2 hours and 40 minutes. I definitely ran for a bathroom break in the middle of this one.
Oh, I did too. I did too.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't. It was They were still talking, and serious
Mm-hmm.
music was playing, and Tom Cruise was walking around, looking out a window,
Mm-hmm.
turning around, and then
Yeah.
says something, and I go, "Oh, cool! I didn't miss anything."
Yeah. I know. It's
Some of the padding was rough in this for me.
you watch enough movies, you get used to points where it's like, okay, I think I have a couple minutes now. I think
Yeah.
I ran like it was shortly after Elsa's death, and like it was
Yeah.
the calming down point, and I went,
Yeah.
okay, I got a few minutes. I'm running to the bathroom.
Yeah, I go, fuck it. I think I knew. I think I went a little bit before, but when they were panning out is when I ran because I was thinking, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna. Oh, never mind, it's happening right now. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go pee.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, probably to the people behind me, it looked like they killed her, and I went, screw this, I'm done. I'm not watching this movie anymore.
Yeah, possibly. But next week we have Oppenheimer, which Christopher Nolan's been talking about is 2 minutes shorter than Avengers Endgame. So might do a bathroom break on that one too.
I might just get there early enough and like get my double, or as I call it, my double, just my large popcorn, medium drink, and the 20 ounce. Sit down most of the 20 ounce, and then sit down the medium, and then use the bathroom, and then just fill up. Be okay. I'm ready. Bladder's empty.
But like I said, overall, it's not a perfect movie, but overall I enjoy it. I think Fallout's still probably my favorite.
I
That's
still
only from
like.
last week.
Yeah, I did like Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout just felt darker. Like even in this one, even though this one actually has a death of the main crew, Fallout feels darker.
A little bit, yeah, but I still say 3 is definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, 3's underrated. God,
I still enjoy 3. Yeah.
3 definitely has the best villain.
It had, hands down.
Yeah. Oh my
Maybe that's why I'm not threatened by this villain, because I've seen the most ruthless
It's not
people.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It's God. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, like, damn.
But this is a solid one, worth checking out. Let's see, what's next? Oh yeah, Insomnia. Getting ready for Christopher Nolan next week, so we're watching a Christopher Nolan movie. One that I actually haven't seen all the way through until this week because I actually fell asleep last time I tried to watch it back in 2002, 21 years ago. Oh my God, I feel old.
Yeah. Some of the stuff in this, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely a dark one. So fun fact real quick about this one.
Yeah.
This is the only movie Christopher Nolan's directed that he had nothing that he wasn't involved with the writing with whatsoever. So I think that's an interesting fact. This is a solid movie.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic between him and Rob Williams. Okay, so essentially the setup is you have these two cops, Will Dormer and then Hap, and I can't think of his last name. But they go to this Alaska town to investigate a crime, but they're also being investigated by IA, Internal Affairs. So they got this little drama back in I think it's New York where they're from.
No, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Los
Angeles, yeah.
Yeah, they're from Los Angeles, and they go to this Alaska town to investigate this murder of this teenager. And you find out that Hap has agreed to testify for IA, and of course, Will's not thrilled with that. And then while they're chasing down this killer, or this person they assume is the killer, Will, who already at this point has not been sleeping well because this is a town that for like 5 months out of the year they don't have sundown.
Good old Alaska.
Yeah. So they're chasing down this killer. He sees somebody in the fog. He's already been shot out, so he's a little, he's tired, he's testy. So he shoots at the person ahead of him, and it ends up being his partner. And that's pretty much the setup for this movie.
Yeah.
He kills his partner. His partner's like, "Oh, you motherfucker! You did it because the IA thing, the IA thing, not the AI thing."
Yeah.
Listen, we got AI and IA in this episode, so it's all over the place with these initials. But it sets up this interesting dynamic between Robin Williams, who is the killer of the young girl, the case they're first investigating, and the Al Pacino Will Dormer, who kills his partner. Does he do it on accident? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does it on accident, but like even he's not sure.
Yeah, but they're never really clear about it in the movie. But
yeah, I feel it's fairly clear it's an accident, but like
I think it's definitely an accident. Like he didn't intend to, but his partner could have been a little vocal too.
True. well, I mean, he he could have been vocal, but at the same time, they're chasing a killer who's already shot at them, so it makes sense not to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty damn good movie. Now that I've actually stayed awake through the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe we could discover some more older gems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might have to.
I know. I haven't seen all of Christopher Nolan's stuff too. I know I've seen most of it, but I'm certain there's ones I've missed. But yeah, so eventually you end up with this relationship between Robin Williams, killer, and then essentially Al Pacino, who's a killer as well. Although you definitely see a difference between the two, but like the Robin Williams character does contact Al Pacino and essentially say, "Hey, I saw what you did. We're the same now." And their dynamic is interesting and definitely a highlight of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like they're fucking around, like essentially, the Robin Williams character is saying, "Hey, don't it was an accident. I didn't mean to kill her. Don't arrest me." And then I won't tell them what you did. And Al Pacino seems like he's playing along with it for a little while. It's not clear how much he was playing along with it. I kind of felt like he was kind of on board for a bit, but like it's not 100% clear how much he was. What are your thoughts on that one, Bobby?
I think a lot of that was playing into the film itself, like with the story it was. Like I think it was putting us, the viewer, more into line with where Pacino was at, with it not really sure what's going on or anything. I don't know though. I still think this is just a very great like crime film.
I guess overall, what are your thoughts, Bobby?
I really enjoyed this. Like I can't sing this enough. I'm a big fan of like when actors kind of play something a little bit out of the norm for them, and Williams did this and that. He was kind of very terrifying in some moments.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this. I can't really say a lot about it. I thought the setting in Alaska was a nice touch too. Like it gave it like a very like almost empty feeling a lot of the time, because like the scenery there was like gorgeous at times, but also like just like when he's chasing them through that logging mill and all the logs are just on the water and he's running across them.
Oh yeah, that was a great scene because like
that was a beautiful sequence.
Yeah, like they're running across him. Al Pacino eventually falls down, and then it ends up being this thing where like he's trying to get up and he's trying not to he's trying to get a breath of air, but every time like a log like collides into it in his way and he can't breathe.
That sound design was great.
That was really well done. Yeah. I love it was just something you don't really think about. Then you watch it, it's like, ooh, that would be terrifying.
Would be terrifying,
yeah. And that's I think what I like here is the dynamic between the Al Pacino and Robin Williams, as already brought up. But also like you get to see how different these guys are as you go, because at first it almost feels like, okay, so maybe they both killed somebody and didn't mean it, so maybe they are kind of the same. But as we go, we kind of see how Robin Williams is kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy,
yeah. He's not running with a full.
He does not have a full deck. He's not playing with a full
deck. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
obviously.
his cheese has slid off his cracker.
Yeah, he obviously is kind of not all there, and you start to see that because Al Pacino's Will Dormer, like he knows what he did. He's not 100% sure if he meant to do what he did, but he also, like, you can tell, like, he's not happy with what he did,
No,
and you don't know 100%. But like as a viewer, I felt like watching this that like if he had a chance to do it again, there's no way in hell he would do that again.
no,
With Robin
absolutely
Williams,
not.
that's definitely not clear at all. Um, and it's also not clear whether or not he'll do it again. If you know, and you kind of get the sense the more they're around each other that Robin Williams might do this again. So you know, spoiler for a 21-year-old movie, you get the face off between. Oh well, I guess we haven't even talked about Hilary Swank's character.
No,
Yeah, the
really,
third lead. Third lead.
yeah, she was great actually.
Yeah,
Like
she's
I
she's
usually enjoy her in almost anything I see her in. Like
she's a
she's
great
great.
actress. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Uh,
She was really good in this. Um, so what do you think? Do you think she did the right thing at the end?
right thing at the end.
Yeah,
What do you mean specifically?
like let it like not saying anything about the case, about him shooting his partner, or just letting it get pinned on Robin Williams' character.
Did she not say anything? I thought she
She
kept the
told him
bullet
she
in
knew.
place.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
she
yeah, no,
did.
she definitely told him she knew.
And she
And
threw. Yeah, she
essentially,
got rid of the bullet. Yeah, she got rid of the bullet at
did
the
she
end.
get
I'm
rid of the
asking.
bullet? I thought she
I'm
put it
pretty.
back in after he told
She
her
did.
not to.
Yeah, because he died. That's right. Yeah.
He was saying, like
Yeah.
she was saying, you know, we don't have to let this happen. He was kind of like, no, go ahead, let it happen. Was the impression I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Which yeah, it kind of shows an evolution of the character. Um,
Yeah.
you could argue whether or not he died. Maybe in a couple years we'll get Insomnia too.
Who? Bill Skarsgård? Maybe.
Sure.
Rainn
Yeah,
Wilson.
yeah.
Ted Nugent's triumphant debut to screen as a crazy person. He won't
Oh
have to
fuck.
stretch much. He won't have to stretch much.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the Will Dormer dies, but like it's.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of Christopher Nolan's talent. Like he's really good at kind of playing with the ambiguities as much as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably best exemplified with the ending of Inception. But
Yeah. That's one
yeah,
that's still argued about over till today.
and the whole point of the ambiguity is the argument. You know, the debate: is it this or is it that? Because honestly, for the story, at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter. So ambiguity can be fun.
I'm gonna have to try and rewatch that one on my own.
But Inception,
Yeah, yeah. I every time like when it came out, I would watch it with somebody. They would feel the need to be explaining everything to me as I'm trying to watch it, and like
why
just
would you explain Inception? One of the criticisms of that movie is that it has too much exposition. And it is exposition heavy. I love that movie, but holy crap.
but yeah,
But
so it kind of killed it a little for me.
mhm. But we will have to see. Maybe we will add that to the agenda. I was just hearing, like, while we're streaming, that apparently Blue Beetle already got pushed back to next year. So stuff on here might be changing quickly with everything on strike. But yeah, overall, this is a good one. It's worth
Yeah, yeah,
checking
we
out.
could. Well, really, wait. Blue Beetle already got pushed back.
Yes, and that was coming out next month. That's coming out in like a month, and now all of a sudden it's back to 2024.
They had a huge spot for it in the theater. I just saw it today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just
Okay,
released the final
so
trailer for it.
yeah, we might have to have a meeting after this.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will see. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go over. Like I kind of want to look up what release schedule changes have happened, because you kind of assume stuff like that will happen, but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. And
happening fast. Like
I
I
kind of
assumed everything
figured
over the next month would be fine.
yeah, I kind of figured we might have to do some like rearranging or rescheduling, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
We'll see. But yes, Insomnia. If you haven't seen it, it's a cool
Check it
little
out.
Christopher Nolan
Yeah.
police thriller. Yeah, absolutely worth checking out. If you like Christopher Nolan and you like police thrillers, check this out.
Yeah, definitely.
There we go. So Star Trek: Strange New Worlds,
Yes.
season 1. We're trying this
This
again.
close, man.
Not
Yeah,
there's
this
any technical
close.
issues.
Nope. Issue free since 2003. All right.
Yeah. Since July 17th, 2003, issue 3 free.
23.
23, yes. Yeah, Star Trek: Strange New
Oh,
Worlds season 1. Overall, I thought this was a solid season.
yeah.
Obvious.
This was great. I've been
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoying this as new Trek, as like I kind of found Picard very slow, but still enjoyable.
Yeah. Well,
slow.
Picard. Picard actually might be my least favorite series in New Trek, and I still
Yeah.
overall enjoy it, but it's got issues.
Yeah.
Maybe at
But
some point we'll
Strange,
probably dive into Picard, but like Strange New
yeah, but
Worlds overall
Strange
is
Worlds
good.
is really great because it definitely has like a lot of for me things that remind me of the original. Like even that little score tease that they play in
Yeah.
every episode, that I always
Mhm.
go, hey, I know
Mhm.
that, that's cool. But I enjoy it because it's kind of the tales of the Enterprise before we first heard any tales of the Enterprise. And I mean, we've already, I guess, spoiler alert for a show that's already been out for what, over a year now?
Yeah, it's
Right?
been probably about a year. I mean, we're getting
Yeah,
season
yeah.
2 right now, so
Yeah, we get Kirk in the end, which was really nice.
Yeah. Well,
I just
what
like,
was your thought of the actor who played Kirk? Because I honestly wasn't thrilled with him. I don't think he's terrible, but like,
I mean, I'm happy he didn't do a Shatner impersonation.
that's true. That's true. The Shatner would be a bit much, but yeah, I actually feel like the casting
I mean,
has been on
I'm a
point
little,
for a
I'm a
lot.
little
Yeah.
disappointed he didn't have a girdle on that was visible.
hmm True.
No,
Maybe between shots, have his hair changed between straight and curly.
him look very winded all the time.
maybe when maybe just give like creepy looks out randomly, just.
And I mean, I wasn't fully convinced he was Kirk either because he didn't sleep
No.
with anybody.
True.
So
He just needed to sleep with everybody he encountered.
he didn't sleep with anyone. So I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. You
I
know,
don't know if this is Kirk.
like, well,
This might
I
be an
mean,
alternate reality.
I mean, all kidding aside, I'm kind of happy the actor took his own
Yeah.
thing for it. And really, like, when I think of like the reputation that we know Kirk have just from the lore within the show, never of anything that we see, we kind of see the take no prisoners thing, and that move of getting all the mining ships, like, that's totally out of the James T. Kirk playbook.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that. And I was like, all right, that's totally a Kirk. All right. Your dumb
rewatching that
confidence is beautiful sometimes.
What I kind of appreciate about that episode is that it kind of shows the different captaining styles between Kirk and Pike quite a bit. And it, to me, it almost shows how Pike is, I feel, a better captain, but Kirk, just by nature of who he is, was better in that situation.
Yeah.
Because like Pike was ready for peace deals, and like he had the commander kind of on board with everything, and that's why it fell apart, because first officer was absolutely not on board with that, and he was ready to go to war. And yeah, Kirk being a bit more take no prisoners was actually better in that situation. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting how they do that dynamic. It's not because either one's necessarily better, but like they're just different. And it just kind of shows in that specific situation, Kirk would have been better, which we see play out through real time. I actually saw Balance of Terror not that long ago, so it was nice to kind of watch Balance of Terror and then that episode following up and see how they kind of copy it and how it's kind of similar. I will, like, I guess I feel like I'm repeating myself, but like if you're listening, like this is gonna get added in anyway. My biggest complaint so far would be the fantasy episode, which felt weird and wonky.
This is about where we cut out. This is about
yeah. the fancy. So like the whole ship gets taken over by a spell or some shit, and like everybody's a fantasy character except for Dr. Mabanga and Hemmer, and they gotta do fantasy shit, and it's a nice episode to resolve the storyline with Dr.
Hemmer
Mabanga and
saved
his
this
daughter.
episode. Hemmer
Yeah,
saved this episode.
Hemmer gets all the cool highlights in this episode. Like that's like I don't really like this episode, but Hemmer is the reason to watch it because Hemmer is a great character. This is next to last episode, and he gets some moments to really shine here.
Yeah, science, the magic of abracadabra.
Yeah,
uses a phaser to open the door.
Yeah, Hemmer is just a great character. It was like, obviously, spoiler for something a year old. He dies in the next last episode, and
like a true hero,
like a fucking boss. Yeah. So, and that's something else that they do in this series. So, like the main villain in this series, I feel like getting set up right now are the Gorn. The Gorn, the slow ass alien that Kirk fought on that planet.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job of making him menacing, I think. Because they're not the same alien that Kirk fought on the planet.
No. But,
technically they are, but
no, actually, that one was really good. I was like, oh, so yeah, your existence here is insulting. Like, yeah, y'all need to kill these guys. Like, no, that was a good one. I really liked that. That was great. That was really good. I was surprised with the death of a crew member, but I also knew the season was ending, and either someone's leaving the ship or someone's dying.
Well, Star Trek season. Well, actually, now I think about it, I was almost about ready to say people usually die in Star Trek season 1, but actually, it's not that common, is it? Like, obviously, Tasha Yar, but yeah,
yeah, but we talked briefly about it, but let's go into the episode where they faced one like major threat that was like a threat that we've known in Star Trek lore for a while. The Romulans.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, the Kirk one.
Yeah, the Kirk one. Yeah, we just talked about Kirk.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about the Romulans.
Oh, fine, we'll talk about the Romulans.
Well, before we get into it, there was another cameo of a familiar voice we heard, which actually got me thinking about like lore and stuff. While Spock was repairing the ship and he was in the tube.
Yeah.
And you hear a voice on a comm talking.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's Scotty.
It's
Montgomery
accent.
Scott. It was like more of like, Mr. Spock, I'm an engineer, not a miracle worker. And me thinking like, wasn't that Bones? Wasn't that Bones who said that though? I'm a doctor, not a miracle worker.
Now you've got me thinking because I just kind of went along with it.
Right? It kind of bugged me for a minute.
Did
I had to
Scotty
pause.
do
Go,
something
wait a minute.
like that too? He might have. I don't know.
He might have.
I feel like he might have done stuff like that too. Yeah,
well, I always associate that with Bones. I always associated that with Bones.
Well, I'm too. Yeah.
Mostly just because DeForest Kelley played it as just a crotchety old man in the movies who just did not want to be there.
True. Well, it also
and I
has
loved
me
every minute of it.
With Hemmer gone, are they going to introduce another engineer, or will it be Scotty? I don't know. I feel like overall, like I wasn't thrilled with the actor they cast as Kirk, although I do appreciate he's not doing a Kirk or a Shatner.
I mean, let's think about the alternative here. I mean, I kind of feel he kind of did Kirk a little, like Shatner a little, with just like he did goofy faces a couple of times.
Yeah,
and that was like, okay, all right, Bill, all right, Bill. But he also kind of took, I think he borrowed a lot from Chris Pine and how he portrayed him too. Just that arrogant cockiness, which, you know, Bill had when he did it. But he kind of just did something different with it, and I kind of appreciated the choice that he made. I
Okay.
liked it.
Well, I will
I liked
say,
it.
like, my thoughts outside of that casting is I think all the other casting, recasting of classic characters has been pretty fucking on point. I'm
Yeah,
kind of on board with all of them.
I really
Um,
like Ahura. I really like that
yeah,
actress.
Uhura's,
She's
yeah,
really good.
I feel like she really captures the energy of Nichelle Nichols, and obviously they do more with her character in this, which is great. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Yeah.
yeah, I
I
like what
will
they.
say it took me a couple episodes, maybe the first two, to warm up to that Spock.
Oh, really? Like I was kind of on
Yeah.
board with Ethan Peck fairly quickly, but of course,
I mean,
it might just
when
be
they first
because
showed
like
him,
I
I was
got
like,
used to him in Discovery. Mm.
yeah, well, like watch him going like, oh, okay, yeah, you look the part. Fair
Mm-hmm.
enough. And I saw like some clips of Discovery,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like, oh, all right, all right. But like the first two episodes of this, it was just, oh yeah, okay, Spock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, I let's see. I like Rebecca Romaine as Una. Who? Well, that's the thing. Like when we're dealing with a character like Una, who was just number one in the pilot episode and in the
Hmm.
menagerie, which is just a lot of clips from the pilot episode. You're not dealing with like a fully fledged character.
It's
Just Majel
classic,
Barrett as the
man.
first officer. And Rebecca
Yeah.
Romaine does a solid job, and they really flesh out her character nicely. I feel because she comes from she hides the fact that her species is from a genetically engineered species, which the Federation is not cool with. Um, and I think she does a solid job. Another character played by Majel Barrett in the original series, Nurse Chapel, um, who she's in quite a few episodes of the original series, and I don't dislike her, but like there's not a whole lot to say about her character other than she's a nurse. And I do feel like in this series they actually give her like a character, and
They
kind of
do.
on board with
And,
that.
and,
Yeah.
the actress who's playing her, I'm really enjoying what she's doing with it because
Hmm.
it's just more of like, oh, that's right, Chapel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, this is a chapel that's actually a character. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh,
She's
cool.
actually
Cool.
written and fleshed out. Fantastic.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent.
And that's another thing that they do in this series, that they do like essentially when Roddenberry first started and did the pilot, he wanted like half the crew to be men and half the crew to be women.
Yeah.
And that's something they really bring back in this one because there's lots of great women characters, lots of great men characters. It's a good mix. I'm trying to think. I think Ortega is the helmsman. We haven't seen.
Yeah.
She stands out, but like we haven't had any characters or episodes really focus on her. So it would be nice
No.
to see her fleshed out a bit more. Oh yeah, and the security officer, Noonien Soon, Leon. That's it.
Yeah.
Who is obviously related to Khan. They haven't really delved into that. Pretty much what we've delved into her backstory is that she's had family that's been killed by the Gorn and she's scared to death of them. But yeah, I feel like she's another character we could dive into, especially with the finale of this season being Una being arrested for being genetically engineered. There might be more to dive into with
Yeah.
both of their
The next
stories,
season.
honestly. Yeah, and I'm excited to dive into the next season.
Yeah. I am
Yeah,
too.
overall, I think this is good. We'll probably get a chance to go over lots of Star Trek, seeing what gets pushed back
Ooh,
and stuff.
we could
and the
finally pick
schedule
up where we
changes.
left off. We could
Hell,
finally pick up
maybe
where
we
we
could do
left off.
like although yeah, maybe we could do like a
We're
movie
on
ranking or
undiscovered
something.
country. We're
Yeah,
on undiscovered country.
yeah.
Hey, it's better
But
than Final
that could be
Frontier.
fun. Oh
It's
god,
better than
Final
Final
Frontier was a
Frontier.
rough one.
Oh,
But yeah, overall, Strange New Worlds, good Star Trek series.
yeah.
And like
Amazing.
I said, pretty much I'm okay with all new Trek so far, except for season 1 of Discovery. And Picard is probably my least favorite of the series, but overall I'm cool with it. Like
Yeah.
there's stuff I'm not cool with, but overall it's fine. But yeah, Strange New Worlds is excellent, worth checking out. I'm excited for season 2. Anything you want to add, Bobby?
Echo the same sentiments. Very excited
All
for
right. All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and sign out this the podcast here, this technical difficulty free podcast. So everybody have a
Yep.
good one. If you were watching live, thanks for watching live. Also,
Thank you.
check us out. Check us out on the podcast page. Yeah, like and subscribe. We need to say like and subscribe more often, even though I did the intro. Like we should do that more often.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We should have,
it
should have
does help.
graphics.
It really does help. It really does. Everyone have a good one.
Take care.